Let me know if you can't hear me. We don't have the microphone right now, but I'll just try to be loud. My name is Steve Angelini. I'm an English teacher here, and I'm representing the faculty, sponsors, and advisors of the Drama Club. I'd just like to first of all thank everybody for coming out tonight, especially the parents and family members of the cast and crew. I just wanted to say thank you for having such talented kids. It's an absolute pleasure to get to spend time with them and to see what they've accomplished. And really, as faculty advisors, we let them do the leadership and sort of take control of the show. And it just is our pleasure. And I really want to just thank so much Brenna. Today was her last, full day of high school. Pleasure getting to work with her and watch her lead and be the director. And so thank you, Brenna, so much. These are for you.
Hello. So I'm Brenna. I'm the director here. I'd just like to thank a couple people before we get started. First, Mr. Duchamp, Mr. Dudek, and Buddy for letting us use their space. Also, our advisors, Mr. Angelini, Ms. Duncan, and Ms. Rounds back there. Also, the custodial staff for cleaning up after us all the time. And last but not least, the cast and crew. They have worked so hard. This is not a simple play. The crew has worked so hard putting together set pieces and props, and they've just been so helpful, and this wouldn't have been possible without them.
Hi, I'm Kayla. As Mr. Angelini said, this was Brenna's last day, so I'll be taking over as director next year. I also got Brenna flowers. Because she has been the best mentor to me for the last 6 months, and it really meant a lot. A huge thank you to our advisors. We have budged for them. Later. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Really, Kitty? Now, Dinah ought to have taught you better manners. I'm going to tell you all your faults. First, you squeaked when Dinah was cleaning your face. Now, you can't deny it, Kitty. I heard you. Now for number 2. You pulled Snowdrop away by the tail just as I had set the saucer of milk down before her. And for number 3, you unwound every bit of worsted just as I had set it out down before you. Now that's 3 faults, Kitty, and you have not been punished for any of them yet. Suppose they had saved up all my punishments for the end of the year. What would they do with me? Well, I suppose when the day came, they would have to send me to prison. Kitty, can you play chess? Because when we were playing just now, you looked as if you understood. And when I said check, you heard. Well, it was a very nice check, Kitty. And I might have won, too, too, if it hadn't been for that nasty knight that came wriggling down among my pieces. Kitty, let's pretend you're the Red Queen. I think that if you folded your arms just right, you would look just like her. There's dear. No, you're doing it all wrong. I'll hold you up to the looking glass so you can see how silky you look. There, that's better. Now, Kitty, let me tell you all my ideas about looking glass has. It's got, oh, such beautiful things. Let's pretend the glass has got all soft like gauze. It's turning into sort of a mist now. Oh, what fun it'll be when they see me in here and can't get at me. Why, it's in some sort of language I don't understand. Oh, I dare say it's a looking glass book. And when I hold it by the glass, all the words go just the right way. Jabberwocky, 'twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome rats out the grave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jub-Jub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the menacing foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as he came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, and the vorpal blade went snipper-snap. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. Hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my peevish boy. O frabjous day, callooh, calais, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome rats out great. It's very pretty, but rather hard to understand. It gives me ideas, only I don't know what they are. However, somebody killed something. That's clear at any rate.
Oh, my ears and whiskers, how late it's getting. Oh dear, I shall be late.
Oh, what a beautiful garden! How I should like to get out among the bright flowers and cool fountains. There must be a door here somewhere. Ah, there it is. Even if my head would go through, it would be much little use without my shoulders. I wonder if I could shut up like a telescope. Things are so out of the way here that I think that I could if I only knew where to begin. Surely this was not here before. It's all very well to say drink me, but I will see if it's marked poison. For a bottle marked poison is almost certain to disagree with a little girl sooner or later. No, it seems all right. Roast turkey, custard, raspberry tart, and pineapple. Curiouser and curiouser. Oh, but I left the key on the table. Oh no. You leave this off this minute. There's no use in crying, a great girl like you. Eat me? Well, it's worth a try. If it makes me grow larger, I can reach the key. And if it makes me grow smaller, I can get underneath the door. Oh dear, dear. Oh no, I'll never get through the door now. Oh, you leave off this minute.
Oh, the Duchess. Oh, shall I be executed if she finds out how late I'm getting?
If you please, sir. I wonder if I where I know all sorts of things, and she knows so very little. Let's see if I know all the things I used to know. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail, and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale? How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spread his claws, and welcomes little fishes with gently smiling jaws. Oh dear, I'm sure those are not the right words at all. I must be Mabel after all. There's not much more than 3 inches left of me. It must be this fan. That was a narrow escape. Oh, but the key, the key. Oh dear, things are worse than ever. I declare that it is. I do wish I hadn't cried so much, but I suppose I'll be punished for it now by drowning in a pool of my own tears. Oh, there's a mouse. I better try to talk to it. Things are so out of the way here. I should think it very likely that it can talk. Oh, mouse! Oh, mouse! Do you know the way out of this pool? I'm sure that's the best way to address a mouse. I remember in my brother's Latin grammar book it said, of a mouse, to a mouse, oh mouse. Oh, I dare say it is a French mouse come over with William the Conqueror. Ooh, and the shot! Oh, I quite forgot you didn't like cats. We won't speak of them anymore if you don't like them.
Would you like cats if you were me?
Well, I suppose not, but I really would like to show you Dinah. She's such a dear, quiet thing, and such a capital one for catching mice. Oh dear, I'm sorry. We won't talk about her anymore if you do not wish.
Indeed not, as I would talk about such a subject. My family has always hated cats. Nasty little vulgar things. Please don't let me mention him again.
Are you fond of dogs? There's such a bright-eyed little terrier by our house. He lives on a farm, and the farmer says he's so useful he's worth 100 pounds, and he'd eat a little rat as soon as look at it. Oh dear, we won't talk about cats or dogs if you don't like.
Come, get to shore, and I will tell you my history, and you'll understand why it is I hate cats and dogs. Now, sit down, all of you, and listen to me. I will soon make you dry. Now, are you all ready? This is the driest thing I know. William the Conqueror, whose cause is favored by the Pope, was soon submitted to by the English, who wanted leaders that were much like accustomed to the usurpation and conquest. Edmund and Melchior, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria. I beg your pardon, did you speak?
Not I.
I thought you did, then I perceived. Edmund and Melchior, the Earls of Mercia and Northumbria, declared for him, and even Staghound, the patriotic Archbishop of Canterbury, declared it advisable.
Found what? Found it. Of course you know what it means. Of course I know what it means. When I find a thing, it's generally a frog or a worm. The question is, what did the Archbishop find?
Found it advisable to go with Edgar Atheling and meet William to offer him the crown. William's conduct at first was moderate, but the disrespect to his Normans? How are you getting along now, my dear?
Oh, I'm as wet as ever. It doesn't seem to dry me at all.
In that case, I move the meeting adjourned for the immediate adoption of more energetic remedies.
What kind of energetic remedies?
Well, how about a caucus race?
What is a caucus race?
The best way to explain it is probably to do. Everyone up. The exact shape doesn't matter. Stop! Race is finished. We all have. And we all list the prizes.
But who's to give the prizes?
She, of course.
Prizes!
Prizes!
Prizes! She must have a prize herself, you know.
Of course. What else have you got in your pocket?
Only a thimble.
Give it here. We beg your acceptance of this elegant thimble.
Thank you. Now, you promised to tell me your history and why you don't like C's and D's.
That is the long, sad tale.
I see it is long, but why do you call it sad?
said to a mouse that he met in a house. Let us both go to law. I will prosecute you. Come, I'll take no denial. We must have a trial. For really this morning I've nothing better to do. Said the mouse to the curate, such a trial, dear sir, with no jury or judge, would be wasting our breath. I'll be the judge, I'll be the jury, said cunning old fury. I'll try the whole cause and commend you to death. You are not attending.
Oh, I'm sorry. You ran to the fifth bend, I think?
I had not.
Oh, would not! Do let me help you undo!
No!
A pity it wouldn't stay.
I wish Dinah was here. She'd fetch her back right away.
Dinah. Who is this Dinah, if I may venture to ask you a question?
Oh, she's our cat, and she's such a dear pie thing. And, you know, she'd eat a little bird as soon as look at it.
I have to go. This night air starts sitting my so very loud.
No one seems to like Dinah here, but I'm sure she's the best cat in the whole world.
Oh, my dear paws. Oh, my ears and whiskers. The duchess. Oh, she'll have me executing the serious spirits of ferrets. Where can I drop them? Mary Ann, what are you doing out here?
But I'm not
Go
a
home and fetch me a pair of gloves and a fan. This minute, quick now.
He mistook me for his housemaid. How surprised he'll be when he finds out who I am. But I better find his gloves and fan. That is, if I can find them.
Who are you?
I hardly know it at present, sir, for I'm not myself, you see.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, I don't understand it myself, because I'm not myself, you see.
I don't see.
Well, I'm afraid I can't put it any more clearly. And being so many sizes in one day is so dreadfully confusing.
It isn't.
Well, maybe you haven't found so yet, but someday, when you turn into a chrysalis, you will someday, and then into a butterfly, I should think you'd feel a little weird, don't you?
None of it.
Well, I know I would, so I guess our feelings are different.
You. Who are you?
I think you should tell me who you are first.
Why? Wait. Come back. I have something important to tell you. Keep your temper.
Is that all?
No. So you think you've changed? Do you?
Yes, I'm sure I have. I can't remember things as I used to.
Can't remember what things?
Well, I tried to recite How Doth the Little Busy Bee. They came out all different.
Recite. You are old, Father William.
You are old, Father William, the young man said, and you incessantly stand on your head. At your age, do you think this is right? In my youth, Father William replied, I was sure that it would injure my brain. And now that I am sure that I have none, I do it again and again. You are old, Father William, the young man said, and your jaws are too weak for nothing tougher than suet. But you eat the goose, the bones, and the beef. Pray, how did you manage to do it? In my youth, Father William said, I took to the law and argued each case with my wife. And with the muscular strength which it gave to my jaw, lasted me the rest of my life.
That is not so right.
Not quite right, I'm afraid. Some of the words have gotten altered.
It's wrong from beginning to end. So, you want to be a different size?
Oh yes, please. I'm not really particular to sizes, but one doesn't like changing so often, you know.
Are you content with what you are now?
Well, I would like to be a little larger, sir. 3 inches is such a wretched height.
It is a fine height indeed.
But I am not used to it.
You'll get used to it in time. One side will make you grow taller, the other will make you grow shorter.
One side of what? And the other side of what?
Of the mushroom.
Now, which is which?
knocking, and that for 2 reasons. First, because I'm on the same side of the door as you are. Secondly, because they're making such a noise inside, no one could possibly hear you.
Please then, how am I to get in?
There might be some sense in knocking if we had the door between us. For instance, if you're on the inside, you can knock, and I can let Judge know.
But how am I to get in?
I shall stay here until tomorrow, or the next day, maybe.
But how am I to get in?
Are you to get in all? That's the first question, you know.
Then what am I to do?
Anything you'd like.
There's no use in talking to him. He's perfectly idiotic. There is too much pepper in that soup. Would you tell me, please, why your cat grins like that?
It's a Cheshire cat, and that's why.
I've never seen a cat grin.
All of them can, and most of them do.
Well, I don't know any that do.
You don't know much, and that's a fact.
Oh, please do watch what you're doing. There goes his precious nose.
If the world minded its own business, it would go around a great deal faster than it does.
But that would not be an advantage, you know. What with the work that it takes in the day and the night, and the Earth takes 24 hours to turn on its axis.
Talking of axes, chop off her head.
24 hours? Or is it 12? No, it's 24.
Oh, don't bother me. I never could abide by figures. Speak roughly to your little boy and beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy because he knows it teases. I speak severely to my little boy and beat him when he sneezes, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he sneezes. Here, you may nurse it for a bit if you'd like. I'm going to get ready to play croquet with the queen.
It's a good thing I took the child from there. They would have surely killed it in a day or two, and if I left it behind, it would have been murder. Don't run! That's no way to express your feelings. Well, if you're gonna turn into a pig, then I will have nothing more to do with you. Would you tell me, please, Cheshire Puss, which way I am to go from here?
That depends a great deal on where you want to go.
I don't care where,
And it doesn't matter which way you walk.
as long as I get somewhere.
Well, you're sure to do that if you only walk long enough.
What sort of people live about here?
To the right lives a hatter. To the left, a March hare. Is it either you like? They're both mad.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
I'm afraid you can't help that.
We're all mad here.
I'm mad, and you're mad.
But how do you know that I'm mad?
You must be, or you wouldn't be here.
Tell me, so you played croquet with the queen today?
I should like it very much, but I have not been invited yet.
You will see me there.
By the by, what became of the baby?
I'd nearly forgotten to ask.
It turned into a pig.
I thought it would.
Did you say pig or pig?
I said pig, and I really wish you wouldn't keep vanishing and reappearing so suddenly. It makes one quite giddy.
All right.
Often I've seen a cat without a grin, but a grin without a cat? That is the most curious thing I have seen in all my life. Well, I've seen hatters before, so I think the hare would be much more interesting. And, as it is May, I suppose he wouldn't be so raving mad.
Sourdough.
That must be very uncomfortable for the dormouse, but I suppose as she sleeps, she doesn't mind.
Hey, no room.
There is plenty of room.
Have some wine.
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any.
Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
Well, it wasn't very civil of you to come sit down with where to like it.
Well, I didn't know it was your table, and it's set for a great many more than 3.
Your hair wants cutting.
You should learn not to make personal remarks. It is quite rude.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
Oh, come now, we shall have some fun. I bet I can guess that.
Do you mean you think you could find the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Then why did you say what you mean?
Well, I mean what I say, and that's the same thing, you know.
not the same thing a bit. Why, you might as well just say, I see what I eat is the same thing as I eat what I see.
You can also just say, I get what I like is the same thing as I like what I get.
You might as well say I breathe when I sleep is the same thing as I breathe when I sleep.
Well, that is the same thing with you.
I think she's quite confused.
What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong! I told you butter wouldn't suit the works!
It was the best butter.
Yes, but some crumbs must have gotten in it as well. You should not have put it in with the bread knife.
It was the best butter.
What an odd watch. It tells you the month, but it does not tell you what o'clock it is.
Why, does your watch tell you what year it is?
Well, no, but that's because it stays the same year for a very long time.
Which is just the case with mine.
I don't understand.
Oh, hey, wake up.
I wasn't asleep. I heard every word you were saying.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No, what's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea.
It's all right.
I suppose there's a better way to spend the time than wasting it asking riddles that you have no answer to.
If you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's him.
I don't understand.
Well, of course you don't. I dare say you've never even spoke to time.
No, but I beat time when I learned music.
Ah, that accounts for it. He won't stand for beating. No, no, no. Now, if only you kept on good terms with him, you'd do almost anything you'd like with the clock. For instance, say it were 9 o'clock in the morning, just time to begin lesson. All you'd have to do is whisper into time and round goes the clock in a twinkling. 1:30, time for dinner.
But I suppose you wouldn't be hungry for it when the time came around.
Yes, but you could keep it at 1:30 as long as you like.
Is that how you manage?
Oh, no, not I. Time and I, we quarreled last March, just before he went mad, you know. It was at the great concert given by the Queen of Hearts, and I had to sing, "A twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at." You know the song, perhaps.
I know something like it.
It goes on in this manner. Up above the world you fly, like a tea train in the sky. Twinkle, 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 twinkle.
Twinkle,
I had hardly finished the first verse.
twinkle.
I had hardly finished the first verse. I had hardly finished the first verse when the Queen of Hearts shouted out, "He's murdering time! Open his head!" Yes, I know, and ever since, time will do a thing I ask. It's always 6 o'clock now.
Is that why there are so many tea things said?
Exactly so. It's always tea time now, and we've no time to wash things between whiles.
So I suppose when you want a new cup, you just move down?
Exactly so.
And what happens when you come to the end?
I grow tired of this. I know the lady tells us a story.
Well, I don't know any.
The dormouse does.
Oh, wake up, Dormouse!
Just what I was gonna say.
Tell us a story.
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep before it's over.
There once were 3 sisters, and their names were Ellie, Lacey, and Tilly, and they lived at the bottom of a well.
Why did they live at the bottom of the well?
It was a treacle well.
But what did they live on?
Treacle?
But why did they live at the bottom of the well?
It was a treacle well.
But they couldn't have done that, you know, because they would have been very ill.
And they were very ill.
I don't understand what you're saying here.
Well, these 3 sisters were learning to draw, you know.
What did they draw?
Treacle.
I want a clean cup. Let's all move over.
Well, with an M.
Why with an M?
Why not?
Hey, that began with an M.
It did! Oh, just like mouse traps and the moon and much of muchness. You say you've never seen a drawing of muchness. Now, have you?
Oh, you ask me. I don't think that...
If you don't think, then you should not talk, sister.
That is the stupidest tea party I have ever been to.
Look out now, 5. Don't go splashing paint over me like that.
7 jogs my elbow.
That's right, 5. Always lay the blame on others.
You shouldn't talk. The queen said only yesterday you should be beheaded.
What for? That's none of your business.
Yes, it is her business, and I'll tell her. It was for bringing the cook turnip roots instead of onions.
Of all the unjust things.
Would you tell me, please, why you're painting the red rose bush?
Well, you see, miss, this out to have been a red rose bush, but by accident, we planted a white one. And if the queen was to find out, we'd all have our heads cut off, you know.
Oh, dear. Who are these? Idiots.
What's your name, child?
My name is Alice, Your Majesty. I needn't be afraid of them. They're only a pack of cards.
And who are these?
Well, that's none of my business.
Off with her head! Off!
Nonsense!
Consider, my dear, she is...
Send them over.
Get up! Oh, leave off that, you make me giddy! And what have you been doing over here? Please, Your Majesty, we were trying!
Oh yes, I see. Off with their heads!
Do you play croquet?
Yes.
Come on, then.
It's a fine game.
Yes. Where's the duchess?
Oh, hush, hush. She's under sentence of execution.
What for?
Did you say pity?
No, I don't think it's pity at all. I said what for?
She boxed the queen's ears. No, hush, hush, don't laugh. The queen will hear you.
Get to your places!
No, off with his head! Off with your head! Off with your head, too! How dare you humiliate me! Off with your head! I want her head off! Take it off! Off with your head!
You can't think how glad I am to see you again, you dear old thing. You're thinking about something, and that makes you forget to talk. I can't think just now what the moral of that is, but I'll remember it in a bit.
Maybe there isn't one.
Tut tut, child, everything's got a moral if you can find it.
The game's going rather better now.
Yes, of course. And the moral of that is, oh, 'tis love that makes the world go round.
Somebody said that was done by everybody minding their own business.
Ah, well, it means much the same thing. And the moral of that is, take care of the sets and the sounds take care of themselves.
I don't understand.
I dare say you're wondering why I don't put my arm around your waist. The reason is I'm quite doubtful about the temper of the flamingo. Shall I try the experiment?
Oh, it may bite.
Very true. Flamingos and mustard both bite. And the moral of that is, birds of a feather flock together. that is, the more there is of mine, the less there is of yours.
It's not a mineral, it's a vegetable. It doesn't look like one, but it is.
I quite agree with you. And the moral of that is, be as you would seem to be, or if you'd like to put more simply, never imagine yourself to be otherwise than what others may seem, that what you were might have been, could have been to what others would appear to be.
I don't understand what you just said, but I suppose if you put it down on paper, I would get it better.
I've made a present of everything I said to you. Oh, and the moral of that is love.
Now I give you fair warning, either you or your head must be off, and that's in about half no time. Take your choice.
A fine day, Your Majesty.
Have you met the mock turtle yet?
I don't even know what a mock turtle is.
Why, do you think mock turtle soup is made from?
Well, I've never had mock turtle soup.
Well then, come on, and you shall go to hear her history. Griffin! Griffin! Oh, get up, you lazy thing, and take this young girl to see the mock turtle and to hear her history. I have to go take care of some executions I have ordered.
What fun. What is the fun? Nothing. It's all her fancy. I never execute nobody, you know. Come on. What are her sorrows?
It's all his fancy, hasn't got no sorrows. This here young lady, she wants me to know your history.
I'll tell her. Sit down, both of you, and don't speak a word till I finish. Once, I was a real turtle. I went to school in the sea. Our teacher, who was an old turtle, we called him Tortoise.
Well, why did you call him tortoise if he was a turtle?
We called him Tortoise because he taught us. Really are quite dull.
You should be ashamed of yourself for asking such a simple question. Drive on, little fellow.
We went to school in the sea, though you mayn't believe it.
I never said I didn't.
You did.
Hold your tongue.
In fact, we had the best of educations. We went to school every day.
Well, I go to day school too. You needn't be so proud of that.
With that stress
Yes, French and music.
and washing.
No, we didn't have washing.
Ah, your school was not as good as ours. Now in ours, at the end of the bill, we had French, music, and washing. Extras.
But I suppose, as you lived in the bottom of the sea, you wouldn't need it.
Well, I could only afford to take the regular courses, you see.
I don't understand. How many hours did you go a day?
10 the first, 9 the next, and so on and so forth.
And on the 11th day you had a holiday?
Of course.
But then how did you manage on the 12th day?
That's why they're called lessons. Because they lessen from day to day.
We have some quite curious courses, you know. I had reeling and writhing, and then different branches of arithmetic, ambition, distraction, uglification, and derision.
I've never heard of uglification.
Never heard of uglification. You've heard of to beautify, I suppose.
Well, yes, to make anything prettier.
Well, if you've heard of to beautify and not to uglify, then you really should get on that learning.
I find it more lesson.
Do go on.
You may not have lived much under the sea,
Oh, no, I haven't.
and perhaps you have never been introduced to a lobster.
I tasted one for dinner. No, never.
So you have no idea what a delightful thing a lobster frog roll is.
No, I don't.
Would you like to see a little of it?
Of course.
We can try the first figure. We don't need the lobsters, you know. Who shall sing?
Oh, you sing. I've forgotten the words.
You walk a little faster, sail away to a sea. There's a port that's close behind us, and it's waiting on my tail. See.
know why they're called whiting? No. Does the boots and shoes? Does the boots and shoes? What are your shoes done with? Blacking, I suppose. Well, boots and shoes under the sea are done with whiting. Now you know. What are they made of? Soles and eels, of course. I don't understand. That's enough about that. Would you like to hear another verse of the Lobster Quadra? Or would you like Mock Turtle to sing you a different song? Oh, I should like another song from the Mock Turtle, please, if she doesn't mind. Could you sing her Turtle Soup? If I must. Must.
Young lady, look upon the road and tell me whom you see.
I see nobody.
I only was shy at such eyes, to see nobody, and at that distance too. Why, it's as much as I can do to see real people by this light.
I see somebody now, but what strange attitudes he goes into.
Not at all. He's an Anglo-Saxon messenger, and those are Anglo-Saxon attitudes. He only does them when he's happy. His name is Hare.
I love my love with an H because he is happy, and I hate him with an H because he is hideous. He eats ham sandwiches and hay. His name is Hare, and he lives...
He lives on the hill. I must have two, you know. One to come and one to go. And speaking of that messenger, we should be expecting him right about now. This young lady loves you with an H. You alarm me. I feel faint. Give me a ham sandwich. Another!
There's nothing like banana.
Oh! Hay, then. There's nothing like eating hay when you're faint.
I should suppose throwing cold water on you would be better.
I didn't say there was nothing better. I just said there was nothing like it. Now that you've got your back, and everybody knows nobody wants to. You can tell us what they're saying in the town.
I whisper it. A trial ought to begin.
Do you call that a whisper? If you do that again, I'll have you butted like through and through my head like an earthquake. You may sit down. Sit down!
Oh, yes. Read the accusation.
The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer day. The knave of hearts, he stole those tarts and gave them quite away.
Consider your verdict.
Not yet, Your Majesty. There's a great deal more evidence to come.
Call the first witness.
First witness.
I beg pardon for bringing these in, Your Majesty, but I had hardly finished my tea when I was sent for.
You ought to have finished. When did you begin?
14th of March, I think it was.
15th?
Yes, 15th.
16.
Okay.
Take off your hat.
Oh, forgive me.
Stolen!
No, don't write that down. I don't have any of my own. See, I keep them to sell. I'm a hatter.
Give your evidence and don't be nervous, or I'll have you executed on the spot.
Bring me the list of singers in the last concert.
Give your evidence, or I'll have you executed whether you're nervous or not.
I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but I hadn't just begun my tea about a week or so ago, and with the bread and butter getting so thin and the twinkling of the tea.
The twinkling of the what?
It began with the tea.
Of course twinkling begins with the tea. Do you take me for a dunce? That's all you know. You may stand down.
I can't go any lower.
You may sit down. Go!
Just take his head off outside already.
Consider your verdict.
No, not yet, Your Majesty. This piece of evidence has just been picked up.
Are they in the prisoner's handwriting?
I didn't know. They're not. That's the queerest thing about them.
She must have imitated someone else's hand.
Please, Your Majesty, I didn't write it, and they cannot prove I did. There's no name signed at the end.
Well, that only makes matters worse, my dear. If you meant no mischief like an honest woman, you would have signed your name properly.
And that proves her guilt.
It proves nothing of the sort.
Read them.
Where should I begin?
Begin at the beginning and go on till you come to the end, and then stop.
They told me you had been to her, and mentioned me to him. She gave me a good character, but said I could not swim. She sent them word I had not gone. We know it to be true. If she should push the matter on, what would become of you? I gave her one, they gave him two, you gave us three or more. They all returned from him to you, though they were mine before. I gave her one, they gave him two, you gave us three or more. They all returned from him to you, though they were mine before. If I or she should chance to be involved in this affair, he trusts you to set them free exactly as we were. He trusts you to set them free exactly as we were. My notion was that... My notion was that you had been, before she had this fit, an obstacle that came between him, ourselves, and it. An obstacle that came between him, ourselves, and it. Don't let him know she liked them best, for this must ever be a secret kept from all the rest between yourself and me.
Well, I think that's the most important piece of evidence we've heard yet.
If they could find any sense in it, I will give them 6 pence. I don't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
She doesn't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
Well, if there's no meaning in it, that saves us a world of trouble, you know, as because we needn't look to find any, but yet again, I do not know. It says here, but I said I could not swim. You can't swim, can you?
Do I look like it?
Well enough. We know it to be true. That's the jury, of course. I gave her one, they gave him two. Why, that must have been what she did with the tarts, you know.
But then it goes on. They were all returned from her to you.
Why, there they are. Nothing can be clearer than that. And it says here, before she had this fit, you never had any fits, my dear, I think.
Never.
Then the words don't fit you. It's a pun!
It's a lie.
What do you know about this matter?
Nothing.
Nothing whatever?
Nothing whatever.
That's very important, you know.
Unimportant. Oh, Your Majesty means, of course.
Unimportant, important, non-important, important. Imp, out. Yes, yes, to be sure. Consider your verdict.
No, sentence first, verdict afterwards. Stuffing nonsense, the idea of having a sentence first. Hold your tongue. I want off with a head. Off with a head. Who cares for you anyway? You're nothing but a medicine.
Where do you come from and where are you going? Look up. Then don't twiddle your fingers.
Well, you see, I've lost my way.
Well, I don't know what you mean by doorway. All the ways around here belong to me. But why are you here at all?
Well, I wanted to try to find a way into the garden.
Very good, though, when you say your way. So when you say garden, I've seen gardens compared to which this would be a wilderness.
And I would like to find my way to the top of the hill.
I can show you hills compared to which that would be a valley.
But I couldn't, you know, because a hill can't be a valley. What dreadful nonsense we're speaking.
You may call it nonsense if you'd like, but I've heard nonsense compared to which that would be as sensible as a dictionary.
I'm sorry.
Welcome. Faster!
It seems as if all the things are coming along with us.
Don't try to talk faster!
Are we almost there?
Almost there! We passed it 10 minutes ago! Faster! You can rest now.
It seems as if we've been by this tree the whole time.
Well, how would you have it?
Well, in our country, you'd get somewhere if you ran very fast for a very long time.
A slow sort of country. Here, it takes all the running you can do just to stay in one place. You'd have to run twice as fast as that if you actually want to get somewhere.
Oh, I shouldn't like to try that. Only I am so hot and thirsty.
I know what you'd like. Have a biscuit. Now, while you're refreshing yourself, I'll just take the measurements.
Why, it's marked out like a giant chessboard, being played all over the world. Oh, how fun it would be to play. You know, I could be a pawn, but I would very much like to be a queen.
Well, that's easily managed. You could be the white queen's pawn if you'd like, as Lily's too young to play. You start in the second square, and in the 8th square, we'll be queens together. Now, as you know, a pawn moves 2 squares in its first move. So, you should get to the 3rd square in no time. By railway, I should think. And then you'll be in the 4th. That square belongs to Tweedledee and Tweedledum. The 5th square is mostly water. And the 6th belongs to Humpty Dumpty. But you make no remark.
I didn't know I had to make one just there.
You should have said, oh, it was so kind of you to have told me all this. But we'll suppose it said. Now, in the 2nd square, there's mostly forest, so one of our knights will guide you through it. And in the 8th square, we'll be queens together, and it'll be all feasting and fun. Now, speak French when you can't think of the English for a thing. Look up, and remember who you are.
She can run very fast.
Goodbye!
Tickets, please. Now then, show your ticket, child.
Don't keep him waiting. Why his time?
You shall buy a ticket from the engine driver.
There was the man that drives the engine. Why, the smoke is worth 1,000 pounds a puff.
Well, then there's no use in speaking.
Better say nothing at all. Language is worth 1,000 pounds of work.
I know I shall dream of 1,000 pounds tonight.
They're traveling the wrong way. So a younger child ought to know which way she's going, even if she doesn't know her own name.
She ought to know where the ticket booth is, even if she doesn't know her alphabet.
She'll have to go back from here as luggage.
Change engines!
It's only a brook enough to jump over.
Well, it'll take me to the fourth square, and that's some comfort. I suppose they've got Tweedle around the back.
You think we're waxworks, you ought to pay, you know. Waxworks weren't made to be looked at for nothing. No how.
Contrary-wise, you think we're alive, you ought to speak. I'm sure I'm very sorry.
I know what you're thinking about, and it isn't so. No how.
Contrary-wise, if it was so, it might be. And if it were so, it would be. But as it isn't, it ain't. That's logic. Could you tell me the way out of these woods?
You like poetry?
Yes, poetry.
What should we do her? The walrus and the carpenter. That's longest.
Oh, but if it is very long, I really must be going.
The sun was shining on the sea, shining with all his might. He did his very best to make the billows smooth and bright. And this was odd,
Because it was
the middle of
the
the
night.
night. The walrus and the carpenter were walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand.
If this were only cleared away, they said, it would be grand. Oh, oysters, come and walk with us,
The walrus did beseech.
a pleasant walk, a pleasant talk, along the briny beach.
We cannot do with more than four to give a hand to each. The eldest oyster looked at him, but never a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head, meaning to say he did not choose to leave the oyster bed. The four young oysters hurried up, all eager for the treat. Their coats were brushed, their faces washed, their shoes were clean and neat. And this was odd, because, you know, they hadn't any feet. For other oysters followed them, and then another four. And thick and fast they came, at last, and more and more and more, a hopping through the frothy waves and scrambling to the shore. The walrus and the carpenter walked on a mile or so, and then they rested on a rock, leaning at the bow. And all the little oysters stood and waited in a row.
The time has come, the walrus said, to talk of other things, of shoes and chips and singlets, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea's boiling hot and where the pigs have wings.
A loaf of bread, the walrus said, is what we really need.
Pepper and vinegar besides are very good indeed.
Now if you're ready, oysters dear, we can begin to feed.
But not on us,
The oysters cried, turning a little blue.
after such kindness that would be a dismal thing to do.
The night is fine, the walrus said. Do you admire the view?
It seems a shame, the walrus said, to play them such a trick, after you brought them out so far and made them trot so quick.
The carpenter said nothing, but the butter is spread too thick. I weep for you, the walrus said, your deep eyes. With sobs and tears he sorted out those of the largest size, holding his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes. Oh, oysters, said the carpenter, you've had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again? The answer, there came none. But the answer came there none. And this was scarcely odd, because they eat every one.
Well, I do like the walrus best because at least he felt a little bad for the oysters.
Contrary-wise, he ate more.
Well, then I like the carpenter best if he didn't eat so many.
But he ate as many as he could get.
Well, they are both very unpleasant characters. Anyway, I must be getting out of these woods. Do you think it may rain?
No, at least not under here. No how.
But it may rain outside.
Contrary-wise, if Mabel chooses, we've no objection.
Selfish things. dressing the White Queen?
Well, yes, if you call that dressing. It isn't my notion of the thing at all.
Your shawl is on all crooked.
I don't know what's the matter with it. It's out of temper, I think. I pinned it here and I pinned it there, but there's just no pleasing it.
Well, it can't go straight, you know, if you pin it all to one side. Oh, and what a state your hair is in.
The brush got entangled in it, and I lost the comb yesterday.
There, that's better. You really ought to have a lady's maid.
I'm sure I'll take you with pleasure. 2 pence a week and jam every other day.
Oh, no, I don't want any jam.
But it's very good jam.
Well, I don't want jam today at any rate.
You couldn't have any even if you did want some. The rule is jam tomorrow and jam yesterday, but never jam today.
But there must come a time to jam today.
No, it can't. It's jam every other day. And today isn't every other day, you know.
I don't understand what you're saying.
That's the effect of living backwards. It can always make one a little giddy at first.
Living backwards? I've never heard of such a thing.
But there is a great advantage to it, that one's memory works both ways.
What sort of things do you remember best?
Oh, why, things that happened the week after next. For instance, there's the king's messenger. He's in prison now being punished, and the trial doesn't even begin until next Wednesday. And of course, the crime comes last of all.
But what if he never commits the crime?
That would be all the better, wouldn't it?
But what would be the use in punishing him?
You're wrong there at any rate. Were you ever punished?
Yes, but only for my faults.
And you were all the better for it, I know.
But those were things that I had actually done.
But if you hadn't done them, that would have been better still. Better and better and better! I pricked my finger!
Oh, where have you pricked it?
I haven't pricked it yet, exactly, but I soon shall.
When do you expect to?
When I fasten my shawl again, the brooch will come undone directly.
Oh, come on, you're holding it all wrong. Here, let me help you. Be careful!
There, you see? Now that accounts for the bleeding. Now you understand the way things happen here.
Then why don't you scream now?
I've done all the screaming already. What would be the use of having it all over again?
That's very true.
I wish I could manage to be glad. Only I can never remember the rules. You must be very happy living in this wood and being glad whenever you like.
Oh, but it is so lonely.
Oh, don't go on like that. Consider what a great girl you are. Consider what a long way you've come today. Consider what o'clock it is. Consider anything, only don't cry.
Is that how you keep from crying? By considering things?
That's the way it's done. Nobody can do 2 things at once, you know. Let's consider your age to begin with. How old are you?
7.5 exactly.
You needn't say exactually. I can believe it without it. Now, I'll tell you something. I'm just 101, 5 months, and a day.
I can't believe it.
Can't you? Try again. Draw a long breath and shut your eyes.
There's no use in trying impossible things.
I dare say you haven't had much practice. Why, when I was your age, I was in half an hour a day. Sometimes I imagined as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. There goes the shawl again.
So I suppose your finger is better?
Oh, much better! Better, better, better!
What do you want to buy?
I don't know yet the present. I would like to look all around me first.
Oh, you can't look all around you unless you've got eyes in the back of your head.
Things flow about so here.
Are you a child or a teeter? You go around spinning like that, you'll make me giddy.
How does she knit so many? Adding more and more like a porcupine each minute.
Now, what do you want to buy?
I should like to buy an egg, please.
5 pence farthings for 1, 2 pence for 2.
So 2 is cheaper than 1?
Well, you must eat both if you buy 2.
Well, then I'll take 1, please. They mightn't all be good, you know.
Well, you have to get it yourself. I never put things in you. That will never do.
I wonder why that wouldn't do. Why, it's Humpty Dumpty himself. How exactly like an egg he looks.
It's very provoking to be called an egg. Very.
I only said you looked like an egg, sir, and some eggs are very pretty, you know.
Some people have no more sense than a baby.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. That last line's much too long for the poetry.
Oh, quit standing there chattering to yourself and do tell me your name and business.
My name is Alice, sir.
What a stupid name. What does it mean?
Must a name mean something?
Why, of course it must. My name means the shape that I am. What a good, handsome shape it is, too. With a name like yours, you might be any shape almost.
What a lovely belt you have on. Or is it cravat? Oh, I really wish I hadn't have chosen this subject. It's so hard to tell which is neck and which is waist.
It's a most provoking thing when a person doesn't know a cravat from a belt.
That was very ignorant of me.
It was. But it was a present, you know, from the White King and Queen.
Was it really?
It was an unbirthday present.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, naturally, it's a present given when it isn't your birthday. How many days have you in a year?
365.
And how many days for birthdays?
1.
Now take away 1 from 365, and how many days do you have left?
364, of course.
Yes, 364 days to be sure. There's glory for you.
I don't think you know what glory means.
It means there's a nice knockdown argument for you.
But glory doesn't mean a nice knockdown argument.
The question is which is to be mastered, that's all. Impenetrability. That's what I say.
The question is, though, can you make words mean so many things?
Well, when it comes to reciting poetry, I'm as good as any other folk, I suppose.
Well, if you're so good at explaining words, could you explain to me the poem Jabberwocky?
No, but this piece was written entirely for your amusement. I sent a message to the fish. I told them, this is what I wish. The little fish's answer was, we cannot do it, sir, because...
I don't understand.
It gets easier further on. Then someone came to me and said, the little fishes are in bed. I went to wake them up myself and grabbed a corkscrew from the shelf. But when I found the door was locked, I pushed and pulled and kicked and knocked. And when I found the door was shut, I tried to turn the handle, but...
Is that all?
That's all, goodbye.
All the unsatisfactory people I have ever met.
Ahoy! Ahoy! Jack! Hi there. Oh, great.
Would you like some help with your helmet?
I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Now I can see more easily. Boy. Nice. I see you are admiring my little box. It's an invention of my own. I use it to keep my sandwiches and clothing in. You see, I keep it upside down so the rain can't get into it.
But, you see, the lid is open and all your things have fallen out.
Are you sure?
Take a look.
Oh. Dang. Oh. Ah, there's no use for this thing anymore. Yes. Is that right? Yes. Up. There we go. They should beat that. Good. Now do you know why I did that?
Now why?
In hopes of some bees may come and make a nest, so I shall get their honey.
But isn't that what that beehive that was fastened to your saddle is for?
Yeah, and it was a good beehive, but there was no bees. It could be the mousetraps. Yeah, and the other.
I was wondering what those were for.
You see, it was weird. I think the mice keep the bees out. Or the bees kept the mice out. Oh God, which one? The bees keep the mice? No, the bees kept the mice out. No, the mice kept the bees. I don't know. I don't know at all whatsoever. All right. Well, it's time for me to leave. Yes. Oh! These anklets. Yes. Quite good. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. I keep these anklets on my horse's feet to protect it against. Want to know what? Shark bites. Yeah. I don't really see sharks that much, but it's good to keep everything prepared, isn't it, Bessie? I just don't want my swimming boat. That's all I'm saying. Well, I should go. Thank you. Away, Bessie. Ow! Oh, my butt! Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you sure? Okay, good. Oh, you're sure. That really hurts. Ow! Well, after that little incident, I hope you have your hair well buttoned on.
Only in the usual way.
Oh, God, that's hardly enough. You see, the wind here is strong as... Hold on. Yes, it's as strong as... soup.
Have you invented a plan to keep hair from blowing off?
Not yet. But I do have a way to keep hair from falling off. You see, for instance, you take an upright twig. You put it in your hair, and you make it into for example, a fruit tree. You see, my dear, hair falls because it hangs downward. You see, nothing falls upward. That's why gravity takes its toll. For example, see?
I see.
Good. Now, I really should be going. But before I go, there's something troubling me. You seem sad. I know. I will play a song of my people. It's an invention of my own. You might hold this. Thank you. I have it written down somewhere. Nope. Bessie, you're so fat you can't get into my pockets. Ah, here it is. I can just walk around a bit. That would be great. Ah, yes. I call it a sitting on a gate. Maestro. And tell me everything I can. There is little to relate. I saw an ageless man, sitting on a gate. He said, I look for butterflies that sleep along the street. I make them into mutton pies and sell them on the street. But I was thinking of a way to feed oneself on better, and so go on from day to day, using a little faster. He said, I hope I had his eyes among the feathers bright, and weaving into his buttons in this feathered night. And that's the way by which I get my wealth. By very gladly I would drink your honest people's health. I think the mother telling me where he got his wealth, but she think for his wish that he might drink to my health. Now if I were by chance, I put my fingers in the glue, I'll madly squeeze a right foot into a left shoe. Or if I jump upon my toe, a very heavy weight, I weep for a mighty so, old man that used to know. His look was mild, his speech was slow, his hair was whiter than the snow, his face was very like a crow, with eyes like sinners all aglow. Who seemed to study all his nerves, brought his body to and fro, muttered mumbling high and low, as if his mouth was full of dough. Oh, snorting like a buffalo! That's something evening long ago, a sitting on a gate. That's fiddling. You didn't bring a tear to your eye. That's strange. Usually eyes. Or else the other thing. It doesn't. And that's jumping. All right, well, then we should be going. But before I go, will you sign me off?
Of course.
Thank you. It gives me encouragement, and hopefully you'll wave a handkerchief when I go down the road.
Of course.
Thank you so much. Here, here's this. Thank you. I must go. Keep that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Ah! What do the lights go? Oh, I can see again. Oh, I should make an invention for that too. Well, I should be going. Bye-bye. Come on, Bessie. Oh, Bessie, no!
Now what do you mean if you really are queen? What right have you to call yourself so? You can't be queen when you pass the proper examinations, and the sooner we begin, the better.
Well, I only said if.
She only said if.
But she said it with a great deal more than that. Oh, ever so much more than that.
So you did, you know. Always mean what you say. Think before you speak and write it down afterwards.
Seems very hard to be a queen.
I'd like to invite you to Queen Alice's dinner party this afternoon.
And I invite you.
But if I am to have a dinner party, don't you think I should be the one inviting guests?
Well, we gave you the chance, but dare I ask you many lessons in manners?
Well, you don't teach manners in lessons.
Can you do addition? What's 1 and 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 1?
I don't know. I lost count. And look what you've done.
She can't do addition. Can you do subtraction? Take a bone from a dog, what remains?
Well, if I took the bone, that would remain. And the dog, oh dear, would come back and bite me. So I'm sure I wouldn't remain.
So then you think nothing would remain?
Exactly so.
Wrong, as usual. The dog's temper would remain.
But suppose they go both ways?
Well, if you took the bone from the dog, it would lose its temper, and the dog would run away, and the temper would remain.
I don't understand.
You can't
And
do
your sums a bit.
I can do addition if you give me some time. But I can't do subtraction under any circumstances.
Do you know your ABCs?
Of course. So do I. We'll often practice them together, my dear. I'll tell you a secret. I can read words of one letter. Isn't that grand? However, don't be discouraged. You'll come to it in time.
Can you answer useful questions?
Of course.
How is bread made?
Well, first you take the flour.
Where do you pick the flower? In the garden or in the hedges?
Well, you don't pick the flour into ground.
How many acres of ground? You mustn't leave out so many things.
Oh, fan her head. She'll be feverish from all this thinking. She's okay now.
Which reminds me, we had such a thunderstorm last Tuesday. Or one of the sets of last Tuesdays, you know.
Well, in our country, we only have one day at a time.
Who? It's a slow sort of country. Now here, we have 3 or 4 days at a time. 5 in the winter sometimes.
Are 5 days warmer than 1?
5 times, of course.
Humpty Dumpty saw it too. He came to the door with a corkscrew in his hand.
Oh, I know what he came for. He came to punish the
It was such a storm you couldn't think.
You never could, you know.
And part of the roof came off, and ever so much thunder got in. And it went rolling around the room in great lumps, knocking over tables and things. Why, I was so frightened I couldn't even remember my own name.
I shouldn't try to remember my name in an emergency. What use would it be?
You must excuse her, my majesty. She wasn't brought up, and as a general rule, she doesn't have many manners, but pat her on the head and look how pleased she'll be.
I am so sleepy.
Oh, who thinks she's sleepy? Give her your nightcap and sing her a soothing lullaby.
Well, I don't have one, and I don't know any.
I guess I'll have to do it then. Goodbye, lady in Alice's lap. When the feast's over, it's time for a nap. When the feast's over, we'll go to the ball. Red queen, white queen, Alice and all. Well, now that you know the words, just sing it through to me. I'm quite sleepy.
Oh, do wake up, you heavy things. I bet no one in all of history has ever had to deal with two sleeping queens at once. Well, they couldn't, you know, because there's never been two queens at the same time.
Oh, my innocent wishes! We shall be late.
Late for what?
The banquet!
What banquet?
Your banquet, of course, quick now!
You missed the soup and fish. Well, you're looking quite shy. Let me introduce you to the leg of mutton. Leg of mutton, Alice. Alice, leg of mutton.
May I give you a slice?
Of course not! It is not polite to cut into someone you've been introduced to. What impertinence! How would you like if I took a slice out of you, you thing? Well, do you have a remark?
I'm very sorry.
Bring out the pudding!
Now, I won't be introduced to the pudding, for we'll have nothing left to eat.
Alice, pudding. Pudding, Alice. Remove the pudding! To Queen Alice's health.
To Queen Alice's health. We must support you, you know.
Through the looking glass world, it was Alice.
Thank you.